We all make choices about alcohol. Kids make choices whether to drink or not.
Bye, Dad.
Bye-bye.
Remember, I'm going to Alex's party tonight and sleeping over.
You have fun. Hey, remind me about that party again?
And adults make choices whether to talk about it. That's true of parents and every other trusted adult in a kid's life. Kids want to know our expectations, and they want honest answers in everyday conversations. So talk with your kids and help lead them on a positive path. Because when you talk, they hear you.
Would you like to work closer to home, save money on gas, and be rewarded for your hard work and attendance? Then Bellisio Foods is looking for you. That's right, Bellisio Foods is now hiring for multiple positions and shifts with great employee benefits, an on-site health clinic, competitive wages, and advancement opportunities. Bellisio Foods is a company that truly values their employees. Apply online at belisiofoods.com/careers.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to another edition of the morning show right here on Main Street TV. Of course, Jennifer here. To start off your morning, we are going to get to the morning news update in just a moment with our good friend Pete Wilson. But before that, we had a special guest stop by, so we wanted to say hey to him and also warn you all that the weather is a little bit frightful outside this morning, and it can't decide what it wants to do, can it?
No, it was quite nasty coming in, especially when the hail started.
Yeah, exactly. Could you pull your mic up a little bit there
Sure.
so people can hear you, because we want them to hear what you're having to say. And yes, the hail, I turned onto the highway and it was like,
Right.
not good.
No, it wasn't.
Not good. Well, anyway, we all survived. We made it here, so that's a good thing. So could you tell everyone who you are? Introduce yourself.
Sure. I'm Gene Medows. I'm an attorney here in Jackson. I opened my office up back in July at 237 Main Street, right across from the courthouse. Just to let you know, I've been practicing law for 33 years, and I practice mostly criminal defense, domestic relations. And as far as criminal work goes, I can defend anything from the lowest misdemeanors to death penalty cases.
Okay.
I'm one of the few attorneys in the area that's certified by the Supreme Court to do the death penalty cases.
I was going to ask you, is there a special certification for that, or
Yes, the
is that
Supreme Court has a special certification under Rule 20
okay?
that you have to meet certain criteria before you can be on those cases.
Gotcha. Yeah, because you have to be a special kind of something to be able to do that, because that's a whole different ball of wax.
They are completely different. And the amount of time that it takes to do one, no one will ever comprehend how much.
I'll bet.
Especially when you end up in trial for 6 to 8 weeks, if
Yeah.
not more.
Sure.
And all your other work is still piling up that you have not done for all that time.
Right. So it's a lot. Have to have
Right.
a lot of good people around you.
You do have to have the right support.
Yes.
But I wanted to let people know that the office is there.
Okay.
I moved to Jackson County in 2019.
Okay.
After
Where did you practice in Athens, or where did you practice before?
I practiced. I have an office in Portsmouth.
In Portsmouth.
I still
okay.
actually have an office down there that I go to once a week.
Okay. I knew you had an office somewhere else.
And I'll just be honest. After my mother passed away, I decided to move.
Okay.
I always liked Jackson County. I actually worked here as a paramedic back in the
Really?
early 2000s.
Wow.
Yeah, I was actually the station chief in Oak Hill.
Okay.
And I've liked Jackson County. And I started looking at houses, talked to a real estate agent, Robin Skaggs, and she said, I've got one in Wellston you need to see.
Okay.
So I went and looked at it, and that's where I've been ever since.
Well, very good. Well, welcome
So-
to the area.
Well, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Absolutely.
So, now I just work to get integrated in the area.
Mm-hmm.
I'm actually a member of the Wellston Rotary.
Okay.
I go to the charity auctions that I can, the Farm Bureau's dinner, things like that.
Sure.
I really didn't go to things like that before I moved to Jackson, but once I got here, I found out they're actually a lot of fun.
They are. We're a pretty friendly community.
Oh, the auctions are so much fun, especially when you have a little bit of competitive personality to you. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Don't
So-
you're not going to outbid me.
Oh, it's amazing what we pay for things.
I know.
Yeah.
Just to say that you won, right?
Just to say you won, yes.
Hey, well, that's a good asset for an attorney to want to win, right?
Exactly.
Well, very good. So if somebody is in need of attorney work, how do they get a hold of you?
Our office number is 740-577-3344,
Okay, and you are right across from the courthouse.
directly across from the courthouse.
Okay, and is there signage and everything out
Yes.
front?
Window has a sign in it.
Okay, so you can't miss Gene Meadows, attorney. Yes, Dylan.
Not quite sure I got it, but is this the building?
Yes, that's the building.
Okay, good job, Dylan.
So it doesn't have the sign in the window, but that's the building.
Okay, very good. Are you on the corner there on the right?
I'm right up there on the right. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yep, that's it.
Yep, that's a cool office. I think I'm trying to think. Don Schaefer used to have his real estate office there 100,000 years ago. I
Oh,
think.
okay.
Yeah,
So
if I remember correctly.
it's a good office. It's a great location.
Yes.
The location has worked out perfectly.
Yeah. I mean, being right across from the courthouse, that helps, doesn't it?
It actually does. Yeah, because if somebody comes out of the courthouse and need an attorney, the first thing they see is my sign.
That's a good
So,
thing.
It is. Yeah.
Well, very good. And tell everybody again what kind of law that you do practice or specialize in.
Well, mostly what I practice in is criminal defense
Okay.
and domestic relations. I will do some real estate on occasion, administrative appeals, things like that, and I will do criminal appeals
Okay.
as well.
And what courts are you licensed to practice in?
All over the state of Ohio and the federal district courts
Okay.
in the Southern District of Ohio.
That's what I was going to ask, because a lot of folks can't do the like U.S. district courts and things
Right.
like that. So,
Hmm.
just wondering about that.
Yeah. So, yeah, I do have my certification for there.
Awesome. Okay. And don't get yourself in trouble, but he can handle those death penalty cases as well. So,
Yes, we can.
if you find yourself in a lot of trouble,
And
yes, Dylan.
So I just looked you up too. I think it says here you have 33 years of experience.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
good to have.
I was
There you
licensed
go.
November 6th, 1989.
A couple of years ago. That's what we like to say here.
Yeah. That's one of those dates you'd never forget.
Yeah.
Yes.
It kind of sticks with you, doesn't
Yeah.
it?
Hmm.
Well, very good. Is there anything you'd like to tell our viewers before we let you get out of here? Because you have a lot of work to do.
Actually, I'm scheduled to be in court in Ironton 5 minutes ago.
Uh-oh.
So,
We got him in all kind of trouble.
well, they can't start without me.
Okay. That's right.
So, just keep me in mind if you need legal services.
Okay.
If you do have questions and something I don't do, I generally know who to send you to.
Good. Okay. Awesome.
yeah.
Very
I
good.
appreciate your time this morning.
Well, thank you. And of course, Attorney Gene Meadows here stopping by just to say hi and let you know that he is here in downtown Jackson if you need his services.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, let's head on over to this godforsaken weather forecast. There it is. Okay, so here's the deal. The weather is supposed to be fairly warm today, but the rest of everything else going on, we have now had thunder, lightning, rain, and hail, and that all happened while I was driving in this morning. Then it quit, and now we're back to a pretty heavy rain, it sounds like, outside. So not sure exactly what's going on. It is the middle of January, so not understanding why we're having thunderstorms. But it is also 61 degrees today. So there you go. Then we're going to go tomorrow to highs of 38 and snow. They're saying probably in our area, not too bad, maybe an inch of snow, maybe less. So don't panic. Don't go out and buy all the milk and bread in the world because it won't be that bad. And then Saturday, the sunshine comes back out. Still cooler temperatures with highs of 37 and lows around 20. A little bit warmer on Sunday. That's all right because we're all going to be inside watching the football playoffs, the NFL playoffs anyway, right, Pete Wilson?
Well, I think a good part of America is going to be doing that. Kind of hard to avoid. They'll be going on both Saturday and Sunday, starting in the afternoon and going
crazy.
deep into Sunday evening. I believe that's when the Bengals and the Ravens are playing.
You're right.
On the Sunday evening game.
2 games on Saturday, 3 games on Sunday, 1 game Monday night. So 6 total games, and we'll see.
A lot of football, but we're in that exciting time. It's called one and done.
Yeah, exactly.
No mulligans.
Yeah, no, you don't get that extra chance, do you? That's one thing about football versus basketball that's a little bit different. Basketball, you have time to redeem yourself, and football, not so much.
Yeah, when you get to the tournament,
You're out.
that makes it extra exciting.
Yeah, get out. So we'll keep our fingers crossed for our Bengals and our local Joe Burrow and see how he goes, how he does.
Okay, well, it worked out all right last year.
It did work out all right last
went
year.
almost all the way.
That's right.
We'll hope for the best.
You've got it. All right. Well, Pete, thank you so much for coming in today. You have so much stuff to talk about, as always.
We do have a lot. It may be in the dead of winter, but there's still a lot of news out there happening, and we're reporting it in the Telegram. We're posting it on our website, thetelegramnews.com, sharing some of it to Facebook just to tease you a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, the main stories we also have on our radio newscasts, which are every day.
Yeah.
So anyway, at the top of the news is one that we haven't put out yet anywhere. So we're talking about it first on TV.
Okay.
And this
you heard it here first.
That's right. We're in the criminal
breaking news. Ba-deep.
We're in the criminal justice system here.
Okay.
But anyway, this involves the Oak Hill schools and an alleged threat made by an Oak Hill area man who had been charged before with making threats against that involved the Oak Hill schools. Okay, the incident happened last Friday, January 6th. And the suspect, who has since been arrested, actually was arrested that same day, is named Aaron Baker, E-R-I-N Baker.
Okay.
Lives on Antioch Road near Oak Hill. And there he is right there. That picture, I think, was taken after he was arrested. And after the alleged incident, he was charged with, right now, a misdemeanor 1, telephone harassment, because the alleged threat, or what was perceived as a threat, was done over the telephone at Oak Hill Elementary School. Now, we found out a little bit about it, not a whole lot. We saw what the court system had put out. We also talked with the Oak Hill interim superintendent, Jason Mantell, about it. But this is what we know right now. Baker allegedly made a call to Oak Hill Elementary School, at least one call, and according to interim superintendent Mantell, multiple persons received what he called very inappropriate comments. Now, they knew who was making the call. I don't think that was a secret. I'm not sure Baker kept that a secret or whatever, but he was, unhappy about something. Don't know what, but he called to complain, and what he said, to a certain extent, was perceived as a threat.
Okay.
So he was already on probation with the Jackson County Municipal Court on a charge of inducing panic that went back to late 2018 that also involved the Oak Hill schools. So when you're on probation and there is an alleged probation violation, you can be arrested on the spot, and then they'll sort it out. They'll sort it out later. So he was taken into custody that very same day and was incarcerated, and the new charge is telephone harassment. But as I said, back in 2018, then the court case went into 2019. He was charged with inducing panic, also involving the threat. But
does he have a child in the school?
Well, they would not tell me that, but it's very possible. It's very possible that it involved. He's 31 years old, and he was arrested after this threat was made last Friday. The school resource officer stayed outside the school after these calls were made. According to interim superintendent Mantell, Baker never came onto the campus. There was never like that, any kind of physical confrontation or in-person confrontation. It was just what was said over the phone was concerning, and law enforcement, I'm sure the first person told was the school resource officer who's posted there at the elementary school.
Well, they have to take these things seriously.
Well, you have to. When somebody says they're going to do something, I guess you need to take it at heart, whatever it is. But the Jackson County Sheriff's Office was also involved as well. I'm guessing maybe to get extra support, and also because if Mr. Baker was arrested outside the village of Oak Hill, there would have to be another law enforcement officer with jurisdiction to do that.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, Baker was taken into custody, charged with telephone harassment, and we did follow up on the court case. he was given a bond. He was given a bond of $10,000 own recognizance, and he was ordered not to have any contact with the Oak Hill schools. Now, an own recognizance bond means that you don't really actually have to post any money, but you could be out of $10,000 if you violate
If
your
you do
bond
something
or you don't
stupid.
show up for a hearing.
Right.
Now, I don't know whether Mr. Baker is still incarcerated right now, but he could still be because of the probation violation.
Okay.
And they have to sort
That's
that
a
out.
whole other
They have to sort that out
situation.
too, whether there was really a violation there. But the inducing panic goes back to a charge filed on December 17, 2018. Baker pled not guilty on that charge. However, on February 5th, 2019, not quite 2 months later, he pled guilty, was fined $250 in costs, $137 in court costs, sentenced to 180 80 days in jail. All but 172 were suspended. So if it came to bear as it shows up on the case filings, he spent 8 days in jail.
Mm-hmm.
He was also ordered to perform 500 hours of community service, placed on probation for 5 years, and was ordered to seek evaluation and treatment for anger management. Also, he was to have no contact at all with the Oak Hill schools until the start of the 2019-2020 school year. So, because of this other case, I am guessing that he was on probation for that, and the first threat was being held over his head if anything else happened, and then this happened. Once again, do not know the nature of the comment, what the exact comment was. It was perceived as a threat, but it was apparently heard and made to multiple staff members at Oak Hill Elementary School. But no lockdown at the schools. Business went on as usual, but they made sure that Mr. Baker would have no physical contact with the schools until he was in custody.
Gotcha.
All right. Staying with law enforcement,
Oh my.
the Jackson County Municipal Court Probation Office, which was involved in this case, was also involved in, I guess, what you call a major drug seizure in the city of Wellston. That also occurred last Friday, January 6th.
Busy day.
You're right. Officers from the Wellston Police Department and the Jackson County Sheriff's Office were involved in that. They conducted altogether a nighttime probation search in Wellston at the residence at 226 South Minnesota Avenue of Mark Smear, S-M-I-A-R. I'm not sure I'm pronouncing that right, but we have his picture too. There he is. But he was taken into custody as well because at that residence, he was incarcerated because of an alleged probation violation. Once again, it gives the municipal court a lot of latitude to make an arrest, Jennifer, even when, there's nothing proven on the new violation, which in this case was drugs. So he is in custody, or was in custody at least, initially on a probation hold. But when they did a search of that residence, they found 27 grams of suspected methamphetamine, 22 grams of suspected fentanyl, 7 ounces of marijuana, and $222 in cash. And there you see some of the confiscated goods there. And you'll notice, I noticed this because, we cover it all the time. But drugs have been an ongoing problem. But now the two new things, well, they're not new, but these are the drugs of choice now, fentanyl and methamphetamine. And remember, we had all those meth labs in recent years?
Yeah.
Well, they don't worry about making the meth labs. No, they don't have to go to that much trouble. It's too easy to get.
Okay, so we're not making it anymore. It just comes from somewhere else.
Because it's too easy to get. You don't have to go to the trouble of getting the components and doing it.
Oh, boy.
And so the fentanyl and the methamphetamine, that's what you're hearing about, when there's these drug seizures. And that's what was taken there at that residence at Minnesota Avenue that led to the arrest of Mark Smear. But probably new felony level charges will likely be filed if they haven't already, or will go through the grand jury or whatever. But once again, because he was on probation from some past case, they were able to do the search. And then, obviously, they did find some things there.
Evidently, yes.
So the probation situation with the Jackson County Municipal Court is used all the time by other local law enforcement agencies where they suspect that maybe something good is not going on, something criminal, but yet they don't have cause themselves to just walk in and check it out.
Sure, but probation people do.
Because of the Fourth Amendment and so forth. Right. when you go on probation and they say, okay, hey, you get out now, you have to agree to all kinds of condition, and that involves usually random searches.
Yep.
So
Yeah, they don't mess around. That's for sure.
so those are two of the cases. That the smear case there in Wellston, we reported on that. It was on the front page of our Wednesday paper, and it is also online, of course, as well.
Okay.
Another story that made the front page happened here in Jackson, and it involves a search that took place. It was back on December the 9th, but it hasn't been too long since we got the information, because after they did the search, there wasn't an immediate arrest. They had to see what they seized there. But this involves child pornography. And it occurred not too far from the downtown area at a residence at 78 Broadway Street. And the man arrested or implicated as a result of this is 37-year-old David Kenneth Heckler. And he did live at this residence at 78 Broadway Street, or allegedly lived there. That is where the search and seizure took place by the Jackson Police Department. And the Jackson Police Department received initial information from a agency called the Internet Crimes Against Children organization that look for some of these. They
scour the internet, right?
For danger signs,
yeah.
Right? And they received what is called a child pornography alert. The police department did, and it showed that 3 files of child pornography had been downloaded from an IP address that was traced to 78 Broadway Street. So,
oh my!
So of course, they executed a search warrant there, and that is where Heckler lived, along with a woman he was not married to. And 2 biological sons, and a 7-year-old boy and a 5-year-old girl that belonged to the woman who lived there. So there were 4 minor children in the house. And he was also on federal probation for a sex offense in Illinois. This was on the record. He was registered as a sex offender at an Oak Hill address earlier. That's where he had lived, and then he moved to 78 Broadway Street and didn't tell anybody. And when you're a registered sex offender, you got
a no-no.
You got to say where you're going. That sometimes that gets you in trouble before they find out something worse. But according to the report, 21 total items were removed from the home, including a journal worksheet that asking Heckler to list posts involving child pornography. In that worksheet, Heckler describes going to Walmart at a time when young kids are going to be present, and describes thinking of child pornography from his previous offense. He reportedly admitted to viewing images of nude children under the age of 18 in sexual positions. More specifically, he reported to admitting to viewing 15 to 20 images in October. So to a degree, he has admitted some of these crimes. He was issued charges of pandering obscenity involving a minor and failure to register or verify a new address, which we spoke about there. He had a preliminary hearing in Jackson County Municipal Court, and his case was bound over to the Common Pleas Court because it involves felonies. A lot of times the case will begin in municipal court and then get handed over to the high court. So we'll be following that one as well. That caused a lot of attention. We got calls here, hey, what's going on here? It was right there near the corner of Broadway and Broad. And hey, what's going on here? There's all kinds of cops, and I guess it was close to the downtown area in the morning, and so that is what happened. Took us a while to find that out, but the police department is always very good about releasing information when they feel they can after they sort things out.
Sure.
And at that point, when they did the search, they probably didn't know for sure what they had, if anything.
Right.
Okay, Jennifer, how's your singing voice?
It sucks.
Okay. Well, mine does too, so we won't sing. But we should be singing Happy Birthday because today the village of Oak Hill is 150 years old.
Happy birthday, Oak Hill.
How about that?
Woo!
Now, there were settlers in Oak Hill, the Welsh and whatever, before 1873.
Yes.
But that's when the village was founded itself, 1873. And the Oak Hill Chamber of Commerce and likely some other groups in Oak Hill are not going to let this opportunity go by not to celebrate. A lot of this was discussed at the last meeting of the Oak Hill Area Chamber of Commerce, which meets once a month. By the way, that is the chamber officers right there from left to right. These are people that are going to be central to leading this effort to
Yes.
celebrate the 150th sesquicentennial in Oak Hill. From left to right, Treasurer Caleb Bradford, President Curtis Strickland, he's been the president of the chamber for quite some time,
Mm-hmm.
Secretary Judy Hamilton, and Vice President Bruce Barkhurst. So,
Aw, is that Mama?
okay.
It's James's mommy.
Yeah, I heard that secretary is a real man.
Yeah, that secretary is a real handful.
All right. Well, anyway, we'll be hearing so much more about what's going on. Red Thompson covered that meeting, and other information initially has been released by the chamber. And of course, they're doing that concert on the 28th. That's kind of the kickoff event.
Yeah.
They want to do something if they can every month. They haven't decided necessarily or announced what it is every month, but they've slotted something for every month.
That's really cool.
Different ways to celebrate the anniversary. And the free concert, it's free. Kenny Valentine and his band on January 28th at the Liberty Theater Community Center. So we'll be telling you a whole lot more about that. But some of the things, first of all, at Oak Hill Village Council, it did not happen the other night because I was there, but at Oak Hill Village Council, they're going to do a proclamation. The Jackson County Commissioners are going to do a proclamation next Wednesday at their meeting.
Okay.
So, this is going to be known, shouted far and wide that Oak Hill is 150 years old. But they're thinking about doing a historical
that.
film and reenactment at the Liberty Theater in February, maybe. Maybe an old-time corn roast and cornhole tournament at Etna Park in August. An historical tour of Oak Hill in September. A special unveiling in November. That sounds mysterious, but I think they have something in mind. And then maybe another concert in December. And so a lot of details to be worked out, and in some cases, some months, maybe TBD, to be determined, but we'll certainly be watching that.
James gave me a hint of what he thinks the special unveiling is going to be.
Well, we've heard some things, but we will let you know when they know for sure it's going to happen, because there's a lot.
It's very unique.
There's a lot of work involved in making these things happen.
Yes.
So and of course everybody's a volunteer, and the chamber hopes that other organizations get involved. Certainly, the Village of Oak Hill. Maybe the Festival of Flags. Certainly, I'm thinking the Oak Hill Historical Society will as well. All right. Speaking of celebrations, let's put our hands together for Jackson Fire Chief David Channel.
Yay,
I talked about that last week. I
Dave!
wrote something about him. Yeah, exactly. I graduated with Dave, and so, I know his timeline. He's done it for 50 years. And, Jackson Mayor Randy Evans, at last Monday night's council meeting, made sure through the council meeting and that audience and that platform that he received a lot of attention. He received a plaque from Randy Evans for his 50 years of service. And
Love that.
I think we have a photo of that there if Dylan can find it for us. But David started as a senior in high school in 1973, and
At the fire department.
at the fire department.
Crazy.
And not only is there he is
There
right there.
he
Thank you,
is.
Dylan. There is Randy Evans on the right and David Channel on the left. Just a modest, unassuming person is David Channel. He is one of my favorite people. And, he stuck it out. Fire chief, firefighting, kind of normally a young man's thing, but David has stuck with it. And it's not only the fire department angle, it's the community angle. Because he's led a lot of things through the Firefighters Association, do good things in the community. Pig Iron Day, donation drives,
Yes.
fireworks,
all that stuff.
all that. But Randy Evans said, and we'll have this story in our Saturday paper, by the way. But according to Randy Evans, quote, he has set a fine example for his colleagues in the community with his dedication and his sense of duty. I brought him here tonight to thank him for 50 years and counting, 50 years of selfless service to the Jackson City Fire Department. Thank you, Dave Channel. And he's got that beautiful plaque there to remember the occasion.
Awesome.
So congratulations to Dave. Be looking for that article once again in our Saturday paper. All right, we've talked about these in recent months. There's been, a little bit of split and disagreement on the Vinton County Local Board of Education.
Yes.
We had the one board member, resign with a little bit of controversy. Don't know exactly why she resigned. Laura Martin, that was in November. And when they reappointed a new board member, that was interesting how that was going to work out, because a bunch of people came forward.
There were
was
so many
right, and it ended up
candidates.
that Misty Napier got the appointment, of course.
Uh-huh.
But at the first meeting of the year, that was on Tuesday evening, Red Thompson Jr. was there. Guess what? One of the first things they have to do, they have an organizational meeting. That kind of kicks off the year. They do some things that are normally considered routine.
Uh-huh.
But one of the first things is you got to have a president, right?
Okay.
They couldn't agree on who was going to be the board president. Now, it has been Cindy Strasbaugh. There's
Okay.
5 members on the board. There was a nomination for Mary Ann Hell, and there was a nomination for Cindy Strasbaugh, but neither one could get 3 votes. All right.
Oh.
Now, neither one of them was willing to vote for themselves. Strasbaugh was not willing to vote for herself, and Hale was not willing to vote for herself because they didn't think it was appropriate or the proper thing to do or whatever.
Okay.
So because they couldn't get 3 votes for anybody, they let the treasurer, Erica Zinn, conduct the meeting to start off with. But the president has to sign approvals and resolutions and spending and all like that. So that was going to be a problem by the end of the meeting. So Erica Zinn, according to Red, was online trying to figure out what they could do. And what Erica found out during the meeting, according to Red, was that if a position does not have compensation, you can vote for yourself. It's not inappropriate, or I won't say inappropriate, it's not illegal or unethical to vote for yourself if you're not voting, for a paid position. The board members are paid positions. It's nominal. It's not a lot.
Yeah.
But being president itself does not give you extra money or any designated compensation.
Okay.
So when that happened, Cindy Strasbaugh voted for herself, and that was 3 votes because Mary Ann Hale could not get 3 votes even with voting for herself because she abstained. She still would not vote for herself.
I
So
see.
Cindy Strasbaugh was reelected as the president of
Okay.
the Vinton County Local Board of Education. There are the members of the Vinton County Local Board of Education, or at least 4 of them. From the left is Cindy Strasbaugh, Jason Radaball, Mary Ann Hale, and Scarlett Newton. Not shown, and we have a picture of this, is Misty Napier. Misty was appointed at the December meeting, and she was sworn in to serve the remainder of the unexpired term of Laura Martin, who, of course, resigned in November.
Okay.
Swearing her in is Erica Zinn, the district treasurer, who got to be president for 10 minutes or however
For a
long it
few
is.
minutes.
But Misty Napier, once again, is the new member of the Board of Education. Cindy Strasbaugh is reelected as the president by the board. And meetings one of the things they decide at the organizational meeting is when they're going to meet. And they've moved that around, so that is worth mentioning. The meetings will be on Tuesday, and they will be moved back to 6:30 p.m.
Okay.
On the 3rd Tuesday is normally when they have them. They meet at the district office, but sometimes they will announce that they're meeting at one of the school buildings.
Gotcha.
So we'll be watching that. Okay, first meeting also for the Wellston City Board of Education on Monday night.
Lots of organizing here
Right.
for the first of the year.
On that night, of course, all the Board of Education have organizational meetings that start everything off, and they elect a president and do a laundry list of things that have to be put in place. There was this year, in the past there has been, but this year there was no controversy or dissension on who the board president was going to be in Wellston. It's Terry Gill.
Gotcha.
Terry is on the far right, seated there. From left to right, the members of the Wellston City Board of Education are Roger Rader. He is the vice president, by the way. Then you have Betty Jenkins, John Jackson, Brian Kilgore, and Terry Gill. Terry Gill, for many years, has been the board president. However, a couple of years ago, when there was a different composition of people on the board, that changed.
Okay.
And Brian Kilgore was the president. But after a board election, different people on the board, Terry Gill back in the driver's seat as the Board of Education. In the back there, Tammy Downard is on the left. She's the district treasurer. Very important job, believe me. Handle a lot of money that comes through there. And Dr. Brian Rao, the new district superintendent in Wellston. This will be his first full year there as well. So I'm going to give up my seat right now to Alex Shope. He's gonna give me a break. I'll be back here in about 5 minutes to talk about some other things. But Alex wrote a super story that was in our Wednesday paper about a wonderful young man named Ethan Michael, who is chasing his dream now, doing art.
Yes.
He had another job a labor job before
He
that
did.
that he liked, but this is what he really loves.
Yes.
And he now has the opportunity to do that, and he's chasing that dream, and with an online business, and very talented, not as only an artist but also as a singer. But
Yep.
Alex has forged a friendship with him, interviewed him for this story. We urge you to look at that story. It is online at thetelegram.news.com, also in our Wednesday print edition with some color pictures,
Oh, very good.
which was really necessary with Ethan's art.
With Ethan's art, you have to have some color pictures
Okay,
there.
like MacArthur, I shall return.
Okay. Come on over, Alex. Welcome, buddy.
Hello.
How are ya?
Okay, beautiful weather out.
Can you believe it?
Yes, it's Ohio.
That is true. It's Ohio. That's all you have to say is Ohio. I mean, the sun could come out, it could be 75, and then it could snow here in a little
It's
bit.
like, oh my Lord.
All
it's
in one
snowing.
day.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, Andy caught some hail earlier.
Oh, I did too.
Mhm.
Driving in.
Did you?
Oh, yeah.
Wonderful. Call the insurance company.
Yeah, I was saying I had called my husband. I was like, if I get sucked into the mothership, because it would just like, you'll know where I am, because I'm driving down the highway. It's pitch black. There's this layer of clouds. Then there's light above it, which is the lightning, but the lightning wasn't bolts because it was so cloudy.
Mhm.
And then I was like, I don't know. The sky looks like one of those horror movies where people get like sucked up into the sky or something.
Yeah,
And then the hail started. I was like,
to illustrate the
he
point.
just sent me a message back and said RIP.
I'm not coming to get you.
Exactly. I'm safe inside. I'm good. But anyway, so Alex, tell us about your interview with Ethan.
Well, it was kind of a chance meeting that I met him at all. Pete sent me to Wellston down to the depot to take a picture of one of the classes he teaches, which he really enjoys teaching young children
Yes.
and such, and some of the abstract possibilities that they can come
They
up
do all
with.
kind of fun art. He's so creative.
Yes, and like I said, it was just a real chance meeting, and we talked for a bit, and he told me a bit about his Smoke Dreams website that he would. I'm stuttering. That he had planned, and just I really wanted to get the word on that out, because if you've ever been to like any of the Southern Hills art show.
Yep. Apple Festival,
like
all of that
the
stuff.
Apple Festival, the
There's
exhibits
Ethan
that
there.
they do at the Marquee. Yeah, there's Ethan right there. And just the level of what he burns into wood and paints was really striking when I saw it. And he told me he does commissions in this. I said, I've got to get word on this out, which I'm sure he doesn't need any exposure, because he has a pretty wide following who also recognize that this is one of our most talented local artists.
Yes. Well, and I think what's so cool about what Ethan does is it's very unique.
Yes, it's incredibly unique, and what he does with his pictures. Lord, he'd kill me if I called them pictures.
No.
But what he does with his
He does
creations
have
and
prints
such-
though, some, so
He
you can
does.
say pictures.
He does.
See,
He does have
you're
pictures.
right. You're correct.
No, I'm just foot mouth. But no, he puts his heart into every single line that he draws into
That he carves.
I mean, you can see each individual hair on that horse's, if that's what's up right now, on that horse's mane and its eyebrows and anything else. It's just when he first showed me a lot of his creations, I think they were hanging up, and as you can see in the Marquee and everything, and he brought out that guitar, the Navajo Gunslinger, and let me play on it a little bit.
It's like a real working guitar.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
and it sounds beautiful.
Yeah,
it's gorgeous guitar, and he
there it is.
He burned that design into it, and everything else. Navajo Gunslinger, I think, was what it was called.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
was what he called it. But you can also see in the back that he's got some inspiration from classic art and things like that, Pink Floyd.
Yep.
And, we don't have a picture of it right now, but he recently just did a painting for, I think, his brother, which had like an Alice in Chains motif at the center of it, which was
super
his
cool.
art. Yes, his art is just really, really impressive, and I mean, I was impressed with it, and as I got to talking to him a little more, I became more impressed with him.
Yes, Ethan's awesome.
And it just his story and what he'd gotten through to get to this point, and his will to be better and as a person and as an artist. It's if you don't know him, you're missing out.
He's
one
a good
of
dude.
Oh yeah,
He's so down to earth. He's so talented. He beats to his own drum, and I've always loved that about him. And he just does. That's just him. He's awesome.
He's genuine and he's polite, and that's qualities you don't find a lot in people. And just a really, really pleasant guy. I'm really fortunate to know him.
So, what is Ethan's website so that we can give him a plug there? If you haven't seen it, now he's been in here before on the show, and he's played music. He's also brought, I think, a little bit of his artwork in. But if you haven't seen it, how do you go to find it?
Well, he is active on a lot of platforms, one being his website, which is www.smokedreams.com, which kind of works in tandem with his Facebook page and such. He's also active on TikTok, I think it is.
Okay.
Which I'm not active on that. I haven't seen anything that he might have posted there, but I know he's active.
There's one at the Apple Festival.
Oh, yeah. What is it?
James is being silly.
Oh, no.
Dylan put Pete on TikTok.
Did you really?
Yeah. So, but no, that was one. I think I don't know if that was his raffle for the Apple Festival or not, but he had some beautiful, he did some beautiful artwork and had it on display, and then some prints of his carvings as well. So what Ethan does is he actually carves in wood and then he hand paints.
It's wood burning.
Yeah, he burns in.
Like pyrography and such.
And whatever. Yes, I'm glad you know what that is.
Well, I'm glad I could pronounce it in first try.
I appreciate that. But then he goes in and then he either applies stains or paints or a combination of all of that, and it's so cool.
Well, he was talking to me yesterday about his newest piece and such, the Alice in Chains piece, where he used like Rust-Oleum and things like that to get the perfect shade that he needed out of it, and it looked wonderful. And I'm sure he's got it posted on his website and such, which
so smokedreams.com,
www.smokedreamsart.com.
Okay, smokedreamsart.com.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
I had to fix that real quick.
Yeah.
But no, he takes commissions. He's been apparently pretty busy around the Christmas time.
I'll bet.
Making like ornaments and things like that for people.
Sure.
Just perfect gifts.
And just think all of this is unique and one of a kind stuff by a local artist. That's really cool.
Well, and I mean, when you give him an idea of what you want, I mean, he's skilled enough that he can work with you and make it exactly what you're looking for.
Absolutely.
And maybe even surprise you a little bit.
You're not kidding.
No.
He's awesome. So, well, cool. Alex, thank you. That was so good.
Yes.
I'm glad you got a new friendship out of that.
I want to say I'm very happy to know him. Just
good
really,
kid.
Yeah, really pleasant fella, really genuine guy.
Yeah. Well, thank you for all that you do here, Alex, because you are so helpful and you do such a wonderful job, and we appreciate you so much.
I do the best job in staying away from everyone. So
he's so humble.
But no, thank you. Let me grab Pete back here again.
Okay. Thanks, Alex.
Thank you.
Good job. All right, Pete, come on back over. See, Alex has fun stuff to talk about. Pete always has, like weird, awful stories.
I am so sorry.
No, I'm just kidding you.
Well, I tell you what, we're going to be positive the rest of the way.
Good. All right, Pete.
Okay. Well, so am I allowed to
I'm
stay
just teasing you.
there? Okay. Well, that's okay. All right. Once a year, provided that things don't go awry, like COVID, for instance.
Yes.
The Jackson County Economic Development Partnership group, which of course is headed by President and CEO Sam Brady,
Yes.
has what they call an appreciation reception. They usually do it right at the end of the year. This year, it's going to be kind of at the beginning of the year.
Yes.
And it is scheduled for next Tuesday, January the 17th, from 4:30 to 6:30 p.m. at the Parks Edge Event Center.
Okay.
And Sam, I'm sure we've been working on this sometime, the planning for it, but it's kind of like a way for the people involved in the economic development community, the people on the board, the partners who help fund it, some of the main businesses and industries that have associations with the Economic Development Partnership, to come out and have a kind of like a social casual event where things are reviewed. Sam will certainly give a kind of a review of some of the things that's happened with the partnership and maybe look ahead to some other things. But they always have a special guest or two, and that is certainly the case again this year. Brad Winstrip, we've got to get used to that name because he is our United States Congressman now.
Okay.
He is from Cincinnati. There he is right there. Of course, the flag behind tells you that he's on Congress, of course. They all pose that way. But Brad has been in Congress for some time, actually.
Okay.
But he is new to us because, they redrew those legislative lines. And Bill Johnson is still a congressman. He's represented Jackson County for some time. He's still at it, but the 6th district, which is our old district, is different now, just a little bit. But anyway, Winstrip represents now the 2nd district, which is basically almost all the counties on the extreme southern part of Ohio, almost all the way across along the Ohio River there. He is actually from Cincinnati, or the outskirts of Cincinnati, and he is going to be there to be one of the special guests. I'm sure he'll be making some remarks.
Cool.
That'll be a great opportunity for him and others to get a chance to meet him if they haven't done that yet.
Yes.
So another person who will be there is an important person. You may not have heard of him because he doesn't have local connections. The Jobs Ohio Director of Food and Agribusiness, Tim Derrickson. Now he is a former state legislator, but now he's with Jobs Ohio. And the reason that it's that even though he has an important position, that he's coming is, food and agribusiness. Think about how important that is to Jackson County with the 2 big plants, Bellisio and General Mills. That I'm sure his bailiwick, what he is in charge of, what he pays attention to, will directly impact Bellisio and General Mills. And so I'm sure they already know Mr. Derrickson, but with his experience in state government that came before his economic development with Jobs Ohio. And Jobs Ohio, by the way, it's kind of like a unique public-private type thing. It is not strictly state government, but it is state government's economic development arm.
Right.
And you have SEO, which is the regional arm, and then the Jackson County Economic Development Partnership, other than being a partner, is not directly affiliated with them, but they all merge together to make things happen, state, regional, and local.
Absolutely.
But anyway, so this will be a nice occasion here. You don't have to pay to get in, and it's mainly for the people who have a connection, a stake, an association with JCEDP, but it is not closed to the public. The only thing that Sam asks, because I said we're going to publicize this, is it closed to the public? Do you have to have a ticket or whatever? No, it's not a paid thing, but he wants you to call him so he can have enough cheese balls. All right. Okay. The number to call is 740-286-2838 and talk to Amanda Williams over there at the office if you want to come. If you're interested, you're interested enough to want to come and meet some people and hear about economic development, by golly, they're not closing the doors, but they just want to get a number.
Sure.
So if you can,
fair enough.
If you can, RSVP this week. It's next Tuesday, 4:30 to 6:30 p.m. at the Parks Edge Event Center.
Cool.
All right. Jackson County Prosecutor Justin Levitt, his official last day was last Friday.
Yes.
Just 6 days ago, Friday, January the 6th. On that day, He gave me a call and said, I'm going to send you a news release. He wanted to honor 3 people who were involved in the criminal justice system who he thought deserved recognition.
Okay.
And this is his way of publicly thanking them. And we're going to announce who they are. We'll have an article in Saturday's paper, and we already have it online if you want to check it out for more detail.
Okay.
But his 3 honorees are Aaron Irvin, who was with the Jackson County Sheriff's Office, and before that, the Wellston Police Department for quite some time. He is now the chief deputy of the Vinton County Sheriff's Office,
yes.
and
There he is.
there is Aaron. A lot of folks know Aaron. He still lives here in Jackson County, I believe, but he is the number 2 man now in Vinton County. And according to Prosecutor Lovett, they wanted to thank Irvin for his numerous contributions to the justice system in Jackson County and his tireless devotion to the safety of the community. According to Prosecutor Lovett, Irvin has a reputation for hardworking, compassionate, and ethical law enforcement work. He is well respected among his peers and has proficiency in management matters. His commitment to protecting the public and dutifully enforcing the law has earned him prior multiple awards, and then he listed what they are. So Aaron's been at it a long time.
He has.
And
He's awesome.
Prosecutor Lovett wanted to honor him. Of course, Aaron has been pretty active in the FOP as well, that does the Trout Festival and the Shop with a Cop.
He's always around.
Excuse me. The 2 other honorees, Brent Hinch, who is the Jackson Police Chief, has received from the prosecutor, and there is Brett, excuse me, a prosecutor's commendation. Brett has been with the Jackson Police Department for nearly 20 years. He's risen through the ranks, and just last year, of course, was named the police chief. According to Prosecutor Lovett, he is honoring him because under his guidance, the police department, Jackson Police Department, has increased traffic enforcement, increased training for officers to handle high-risk situations, and improved communication with other law enforcement agencies to aid in the overall effectiveness in all our communities. So that was, once again, Prosecutor Lovett wanting to tip his hat to Brent Hinch.
Well deserved.
Behind the scenes, he wanted to honor somebody,
Okay.
and this is Pete Wolford.
Okay.
Of the famous Wolford family.
Yes.
Pete has been in the area of corrections for 19 years and is currently a corrections officer in the Jackson County Correctional Facility. That is the county jail, the fancy name for our county jail. Throughout his service, according to Prosecutor Lovett, Wolford's excellence in the performance of his duties has been rewarded with promotions to corporal, sergeant, and now lieutenant. He is currently a lieutenant. He has developed, according to Prosecutor Lovett, a solid reputation for performing his duties and for his development of training for other corrections officers.
Very
so
good.
Congratulations to Aaron Irvin,
Congrats.
Brett Hinch, and Pete Wolford. Of course, being the prosecutor since 2013, you have to say that Justin Lovett's in position to be able to
he's been around the block a time
recognize
or two, right?
to recognize excellence
Yes.
in the criminal justice system. And these are 3 people that he thinks stood out, and he wanted to pat him on the back on his way out the door.
Very good.
All right. Speaking of the prosecutor's position, want to remind you again, the Jackson County Republican Executive and Central Committees will be meeting to do 2 things. They're going to do them all 2 different things, but they're having one meeting for efficiency. 6:30 p.m. Friday at the Jackson County Republican headquarters, the former American Legion post there on Morton Street.
Yep.
They're going to choose somebody to be the prosecutor for the remainder of Justin Lovett's term. That will take effect as soon as somebody is picked. There's a waiting period, and that person takes their oath of office.
Okay.
But we know for sure that Gene Meadows and Randy Dupree are expected to be candidates because they expressed their interest publicly at a commissioners meeting.
That's
we
right.
understand there may be at least one more candidate, but I know that secondhand, so I'm not going to say any name.
Okay.
All right. So also at that meeting, they're going to appoint or reappoint an elections board member. That has to be done. There are 4 elections board members, 2 appointed by each party, the Republicans and the Democrats. And in odd-numbered years, each party appoints one of those positions to 4-year terms.
Yes.
2 years. In 2 years from now, the other 2 positions will be chosen.
They
for 4-year
rotate
terms.
it.
Exactly. Kaida Newell is the current elections board member whose term is up on March 1st, 2023. So this will be a 4-year term.
Is Kaida expressed interest in continuing on?
You know, she has not mentioned. I've not asked, but
Okay.
but is it her seat? And it's not automatic that Kaida would be reappointed.
Sure.
Anybody who is qualified, that means you're a registered Republican, you're a resident of Jackson County, and you are an elector. You've got to be a registered
Yeah,
voter.
you kind of got to be registered
Right.
to vote.
Then
Yes.
you know your name can be in the hat.
Okay.
All right. Atomic Credit Union, you know, is really a progressive, growing company in
They
the
are,
area. I mean,
yes.
they keep adding offices. Two local people who we know received major promotions, and we want to mention them here on the air. First of all, Courtney Walters has been named to a new position, mortgage loan originator.
Congrats.
She has been with Atomic for 14 years, right out of high school. She started as a part-time teller,
Yep.
and most recently was a branch manager in Jackson. Her new position is mortgage loan originator. She's a Jackson High School girl, graduated in 2007. Congratulations to Courtney. Also, another familiar face at Atomic Credit Union who's been promoted is Bobby Stepp.
Oh, okay.
Bobby has 34 years of banking experience. She doesn't look like she's been in the business 34 years.
No,
does
she does not.
Well, anyway, she started her career as a teller too. She's worked her way through the ranks. She's worked
She's
for more than
awesome,
one
too.
banking company.
Yep.
But now she works for Atomic Credit Union, and she's worked her way up to branch management already in the short time she's been with Atomic Credit Union, and she will be the new branch manager of the Jackson
Awesome.
Jackson branch of the Atomic Credit Union. So congratulations to Bobby Stepp and Courtney Walters. All
Great
right,
ladies.
All right. For those who may be confused, the Jackson City Board of Education changed their meeting date this month. Instead of, it should have been last Tuesday. I mean, if they follow the regular schedule, but this week at least, or this month at least, it's going to be Thursday, tonight.
Okay.
And they will do their organizational meeting, all that stuff. And usually there's lots of student honors early in the year as well. They like to acknowledge students there at those meetings. So
Okay.
Jeremiah Shaver, we've worked him a lot this week because of the schedule. He will be at tonight's meeting, and we'll be talking about that, I'm sure, when we're on the
Yeah.
news again. Okay, do not forget, next Monday we've got a federal holiday. It is Martin Luther King Jr. Day.
Oh, okay.
Third Monday. It's come around already, January
Man.
the 16th. And there always has been, the Southeastern Ohio NAACP branch always does a Martin Luther King Day celebration event.
Mhm.
They rotated around to venues in each of the three counties. This year, it's going to be at the Paint Creek Regular Missionary Baptist Church, which is on 3rd Avenue in Gallipolis.
Okay.
It'll be at 1 p.m. It is open to the public. The keynote speaker will be Hannah Johnson Turner, who is a history major at Cedarville University. So once again, that is open to everybody, not
Great.
just members of the NAACP. And speaking of Martin Luther King Jr. Day, most governmental offices will be closed that day.
Okay.
And so, that will affect not only whether those offices are open, but it will affect garbage service in the cities.
That's one of those that you never know. Some people do close, some people don't. So just call ahead if you're curious about that.
I'll give you the shorthand version. Most of the governmental offices in Jackson and Vinton counties will be closed. The only one we know that will be open will be the city of Wellston.
Okay.
So Wellston will be on a regular schedule, which means that, if your garbage day is Monday, you better get it out there.
Gotcha.
All right. We talked about the nature hike, the winter hike at Ophir Falls that the YMCA is doing.
Yes.
Joe Finch will lead it. Dennis Reinhardt and Todd Martin will be there. That would be exciting to do. If I can find a way to find time to do it, I'd like to do it myself. Alex Shope says he's going to go.
Okay, cool.
And maybe take some pictures. But you had to call ahead of time to reserve a spot. Forget it. You're too late.
Oh,
They are booked up.
booked up.
And what they're going to do, they're going to drive you in vans out there. You don't have to find the place or park along the road. They'll
Cool.
take you out there and they'll lead you on a guided hike.
That is so
about
awesome.
About a mile and a half. And I will tell you just some pictures. If Ophir Falls was someplace close to a tourist attraction, it would be
Oh.
a tourist attraction itself.
Yes.
It is beautiful.
It is gorgeous.
Okay, and don't forget on Friday evening, Judy Hamilton's son is going to be in the spotlight. Or maybe Judy Hamilton is James Hamilton's mother. How do we say that?
I don't know.
They both have a measure of fame.
Yes.
Of course, Judy, retired teacher, and now doing all kinds of public service, including the Oak Hill Area Chamber of Commerce. James
That's
is going to have his work featured. Behold my stuff.
Behold his
Right.
stuff.
At the Gallipolis Artisan Shop and Studio 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. is kind of like an opening night reception, along the lines of what the Marquee does through their exhibits, I think. But it will be there January and February. Is that right, James?
Yeah. So tomorrow is the opening reception. So come and visit.
All right, exactly. And you can see.
So you want a little teaser, Jen?
Let's do it.
We talked about the fancy cheese tray.
Yes.
I've got the cheese lineup here.
I'm
Well,
so
you-
excited.
he knows how to
wanna
attract
hear
the crowd.
You
He
want to hear
does.
the you want to hear the cheese lineup?
Yes, I do.
All right, so we have first up we've got jalapeno Havarti. It is a creamy Danish style cow's milk cheese.
Love Havarti.
Second of all, from Car Valley Cheese, we have Cocoa Cardona cheese. So this is goat's milk cheese with cocoa powder on the rind.
Wow, interesting.
Yeah. So third up, we have cranberry white cheddar cheese. This is a rich, nutty flavor with sweetness of cranberries to give your taste buds an explosion of flavor. And last but not least, we have Lustenberger 1862. This is a fruity, tangy cheese, artisan cheese aged for 8 months, made with grass-fed cow's milk, imported from Switzerland.
Nice.
Okay, well,
See?
if you like,
He knows how to get a girl there.
So there's the Gucci cheese tray lineup.
okay, another reason to come. If you like photography, enhanced photography, some real creative things, go. And if you like cheese, by golly, you can go.
That's right.
that is-
James, are you going to bring some wine to go along with the cheese?
So beverages are the responsibility of the venue, so I don't know what they're going to have.
Okay.
But we will also have a selection of crackers and like homemade mixed nuts.
Oh, he is on
Yeah,
it.
and I've got some like dried fruit and grapes and stuff like that.
And when I say he is on it, I mean Aubrey is on
did
it.
Aubrey did most of this.
Okay. Well, anyway, so we have those things to look forward to
Yes.
this weekend.
Tomorrow
Hikes
night,
and
Gal Place.
photography exhibits and all like that. But
Yes.
it's also Saturday night is Hall of Fame induction night at Benton County High School for
Oh,
their
cool.
athletic Hall of Fame. Red Thompson will be there to cover the game. Todd may be there as well. But the Hall of Fame inductees are, we want to tell you who they are. Josh Kirkpatrick, who is the cross-country coach, and he's the assistant principal at Benton County High School. Wade Barney, who had a great athletic career there, and Megan Dixon. Those are the three inductees. We'll tell you more about why they're going into the Hall of Fame next week, but they will be inducted in ceremonies before the game Saturday night when the Vikings are hosting Greenfield, I think.
Okay.
So also, we want to quickly tip our hat to the Jackson High School competition cheerleaders.
Yes, they did so well.
Right, they went up to Hilliard Derby to an initial competition, won first place.
Good job, girls.
In their category, and by golly, they are off to Florida for the second straight year,
Woohoo.
seeking another national championship. But you
That's
can see
right.
there's lots of them there, and their coaches are Courtney Butcher, Tiffany Boggs, and Karina Ray. So, and all the competition cheerleaders are not necessarily the regular cheerleaders, but a lot of them all obviously are also the competition cheerleaders.
Yes.
So congratulations to them. And on the basketball front, we'll tip our hats real quickly to all the teams, but especially to the Benton County Vikings boys team and the Jackson Iron Ladies girls teams. Both of those teams are doing very well.
Yes.
The Benton County boys have lost only one game. They defeated River Valley 76-37 on Tuesday in their most recent game. The Jackson girls are 12-2 in first place in the Frontier Athletic Conference, as the Viking boys are in the TVC Ohio. The Jackson girls are 12-2, undefeated in the Frontier Athletic Conference at 7-0. They won last night over Washington Courthouse 44-31. We were on the radio on that. So, just if you're tuning into the radio on Friday night, some Saturday nights, almost every Tuesday, some weeknights as well, you're going to catch high school basketball. So, anyway.
There you go.
We'll be there.
Lots of stuff. Oh, James Hamilton has something else to say.
So Dylan's got a
Don't
special.
be cheesy.
Nah, I won't be. Well, this is pretty cheesy, but it's not my fault. So we're going to close the show with something special here today. So Alex mentioned Ethan's TikTok account, and we laughed that Dylan is working to make Pete a TikTok star. So we're going to close the show today with Dylan's Pete Wilson TikTok video.
Bye, everybody.
been a centennial celebration. I'm guessing some things happened.
I'd say so.